Oh, you make me wanna talk back to you. Say it like that. If I hate you, then find someone new. Baby, but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill. Oh yeah, take you like a pill. Feel you like a pill to get my fill. No.
What is up, everybody? Welcome. Damn, I haven't done this one in a long time. Welcome to In My Opinion, Thursday edition, because the people that I have with me today couldn't do Tuesday. But don't worry, we'll go right back to regular scheduled days here pretty soon. Speaking of the people that are here with me today, I've been wanting to do like a show with them for a long time now. So, I mean, a few months. I've known them through like other friends, other acquaintances, and yeah. So, please welcome Tommy and DJ from the Run In Podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, man? Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Hey, no,
This is great.
Thanks for coming on, guys. Honestly, thanks for coming on.
No problem. Anytime.
I know I told you what this show is about. And for those that haven't been, for the new subscribers I've been out there, this is like a debate discussion show where we talk about like topics of past, present, or, future of wrestling. And we give our takes on shit. And, we just shoot the shit and talk some wrestling. So I know that when I talked to one of you guys, I'm not sure who on Instagram, but
That's me. Run
okay.
it.
Tommy.
I read it all, and this guy does the talking.
He does all the social media stuff. I mentioned that each of us are going to bring a topic to bring to the table. So, without further ado, I don't know who wants to start. I'll let the guest start. How about that?
DJ, you can go first, man, if you want.
All right, let's do it. So the subject I had was, so we got 3 years of AEW. What honest grade, like just without being, if you're not feeling like a couple of the wrestlers or whatever, with that, all that aside, what kind of a grade would you give AEW for the first 3 years here?
Oof.
That's a good question.
It is very good. Very good. Who's going first here? Who's responding first?
You go ahead, Tommy.
All right. I would give it a very solid C. If you're a listener to our show, you might think that I was going to say something different, but there has been a lot of positives of it or on it. Just having competition, I think, is good. I think I've enjoyed a lot of the pay-per-views. I enjoy the pay-per-views more than I enjoy the weekly grind of Dynamite. I've become a huge fan of the Acclaimed. I think all of America has. All of the wrestling world has. MJF. I enjoy Chris Statlander. A lot of these guys have New England ties too, or at least Northeast ties. So yeah, I would say solid C, man. Like the pay-per-views are good most of the time. you know, we've had some shocking moments with CM Punk coming back, Daniel Bryan coming back. You know, how they use them might be a different conversation, but I think a solid C.
That's fair.
All right. Want me to go next?
I would say. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, you're the host. You get the anchor here.
Yeah.
I would give it I'm gonna go a B minus. Almost the same grade, just a tick above Tommy's. I have the same feelings though. Like the pay-per-views have been fun, sometimes a bit long. But that's all right. They're trying to give everybody some time on the pay-per-view, and they don't have a pay-per-view every month. So I get why they're long. And just like Tommy was saying with the independent wrestlers, here in the Bay, there's a few wrestlers that made it to AEW, such as Thunder Rosa and Powerhouse Hobbs, for example, were mainstays here at the independent level here in the Bay. I think they, from what we're seeing, if this is not work, I think they got some work to do backstage. I think when you have the personalities that you have backstage and that you saw, you signed all these guys, but there's a personality that goes with all of these, with this stacked, quote, stacked roster. And I don't know if they're able to handle that. And that, I think that's, one of the reasons why we're not in the category of giving us an A.
I think one thing I always say this with I love the band Kings of Leon, but I always once they got that great hit of Use Somebody, it was like the same formula for the songs over and over and over again. And I feel like it's like having a kid in school where they're getting C's, but they're capable of so much more.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that same way about AEW, where we're getting constant C's, couple F's here and there, couple F's here and there. Oh, there's a B plus, there's an A minus, more F's, more D's, more C's. They're capable of so much more because of the talent that's on that roster. But I'm still sitting here as a disappointed dad because they can get A's and B's, but they're sitting there with C's.
Right.
I mean, I was always told C's get degrees. So.
Same.
That's funny.
No, I think it's fair from both of you guys. Solid C is good. I get both your points. I'm leaning towards more DJs though, because I think what they've done is definitely a B minus. Not great, but it's not bad either. A lot of marquee moments have come from them. I've almost every episode. So it's the exception of them. So each and every week. I will say, I agree with Tommy's point too, that sometimes you get C's, you get F's. Like, we all know one F, the fucking death match barbed wire match.
Yeah.
That everybody saw with the popcorn fart.
Yep.
Or
Jericho
totally
being pushed
agree.
off the cage onto a giant mattress.
Yeah, exactly. But so that brings up another question that I have to add on to the topic. Then, what would they have to do to get A's? Like, what would you like to see?
Ooh, that's a good question. Good follow up. For me, it's just consistency. Maybe a little less Tony Khan. I said on our show this week that drops tomorrow, I said, they build this peak with the pay-per-views, right? So they get to the pay-per-view. Pay-per-view's great. They don't ever, I feel like they never build off of that momentum that they have it seems like after the pay-per-views, they always lose momentum and they don't know how to build off of what they've just created.
Mhm.
I'm always like all for like I always come off as an AEW hater, and I'm not a hater. I'm definitely team WWE if I had to pick one, but I've said it on our show 100 times that I want competition. I want them to do good. I enjoy it when I watch the pay-per-views. I just want to see them build some continuity and keep going with storylines and keep going. Where, like you said, you come off like I said, you come off the high of the pay-per-view and it's like, yeah, let's watch Dynamite this week. And then you watch it and, to use your word, it's a popcorn fart. Like, it's just like, what happened to this great pay-per-view that you had just had? And I've said it a million times as well. I just want Tony Khan to keep his mouth shut and just like be a quiet behind the scenes promoter. Like, we don't need to hear from you every week. We don't need you to announce every time there's going to be a big announcement. And I think honestly, I have a problem with Tony Khan more than anything else with AEW, just the way he does things.
Mhm. I think mine is the presentation. I do think that they definitely need something like a performance center. Because I think somebody's gonna get killed in one, like on national TV in one of these matches. I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to get a big pop, and I get that. You know, you're an entertainer and you're trying to entertain. You're trying to give people their money's worth, but at the same time, this art form is made so that people can fight the next week, you know, healthy and safe. And this is not happening on a consistent basis with AEW. And then one thing anybody that's heard our show, it's these finishes. Like, I mean, and make things make sense, like, for example, the two examples that I have right off the top, Chris Jericho should not be winning against a deathmatch wrestler with a back elbow. Like, that should not happen. What we were just talking about with that cage match, it's not that it was funny that he fell on a big mattress. But the whole premise of the finish was that his team didn't want him to get thrown off and they said a million times, oh, that's concrete. Oh, you don't want this. And then, they threw the towel. And then next thing you know, he gets thrown off and we see a big crash pad. That's a fumble. Like, that's not good. So that's what I'm saying. So that just, it's the presentation. They don't quite have it. And, it's that, you're build up. And then that swing and a miss right in the ninth inning.
I just think part of, like you guys are saying, I think part of that problem is that Tony Khan I think he's in way over his head with the amount of talent he's signed within the 3 years. Like, big time. He's got so many people that he just doesn't know how to coordinate it. And some people can say, like, yeah, he owns a football team, so he knows how to manage a team, but this is a little different. Wrestling doesn't stop. So
that's also, I feel like his dad owns those, not him.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. It's like, he's a rich kid, dude. Like, I feel like everyone keeps saying he has all this money. I'm like, no, he doesn't. His dad does. He's got nothing. Like, his dad literally wanted to see him play with his inheritance while he was alive. That's literally why he gave him this money.
Fair enough. So I honestly don't know what I would like for them to do. I mean, what you guys said is spot on. I mean, it just needs to be more managed, and this backstage shit too. I don't know what it is about.
I feel like nobody
drama, but
I feel like nobody takes Tony Khan seriously, and that's why I feel like it's like he needs to take a step back and not be the face of the company. Like, let your superstars be the face of the company. I know Vince had the whole thing in the 90s where he was a character, but even that was like separating it. You had Mr. McMahon and you had Vince. You had Vince McMahon. Right. Two different people. Tony Khan is Tony Khan and Tony Khan. Like, there's no separating the two. He comes out after the shows and like marks out for himself and things like that. And it's just like, you don't need to be the face of the company to put a good product out there. We don't need to see your face. You don't need to be doing these media tours or media scrums after every show or before every big show.
No, and
That's what I
to
said.
top it off
I've been
is-
saying that for years, man.
yeah. No,
I know, I've been
I
saying
think
that for years about him because, like, go ahead, DJ.
Go ahead. Oh, that's. I was just gonna say, like, I think to go with what Tommy just said. He lost, like, him hugging people like that, for example, at the end of these shows. You're losing your locker room. You're no longer seen as a boss now. Like, you're a mark. You're a fan that just happened to have the money to pay for these guys to roll around in a ring. So they are seeing it as this is a sandbox and I get to do whatever I want. And then you're having guys like CM Punk and Chris Jericho say, hey, I get to say when I win and lose. And I think we're seeing it. I think we're totally seeing that in the ring. So that, it's not he doesn't have this under control.
It almost sounds like he's insecure sometimes.
Mm.
The way he
100%.
just the way he tries to overcompensate in these interviews and stuff, like, oh, we got the best roster, we had a team meeting and I'm super excited. Like, no, you're not.
Huge surprise.
If you are, I tell you're fucking you look weird.
I've always said, like, if
He does.
you're confident in your product, you don't need to mention the other companies. Like, you don't need to take shots at WWE. You don't need to do this about WWE, or like, if you're confident in your product, WWE never mentions the competition because they know their product is the top of the line. AEW taking shot, like, I just feel like it's super childish and amateur that they take these shots at WWE here and there. Like, everybody knows there'd be no AEW without WWE. Like,
right.
You don't need to take a shot at them every time.
Right.
It's like McDonald's never mentions Burger King. CVS never mentions Walgreens. Like, it's just keep it, Pepsi never mentions Coke. Like, whatever other example you want to throw out there, like, you don't need to mention your competition.
Apple never mentions Samsung.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
It looks like we got a question. Is AEW true competition? This is from Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. Is AEW true competition to WWE after 3 years or more of an alternative like Impact Wrestling?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I think I don't know what he's asking. Yeah.
I think he's saying, is AEW like real competition, or is it like Impact was, I'd say probably in its heyday, right?
In its heyday. Yeah.
I would say it's more like Impact in its heyday, where I think every once in a while it's building towards that competition. I think AEW is on WWE's radar, especially with Triple H now in charge. But I don't think WWE takes them seriously. Like, you're going to take ratings away from us.
Mm-mm. No, I like you're saying, I'm gonna have to say with that question, I have to say it's more Impact than it is WCW. Which, they kind of they want to teeter toward, like, that's what you've even had Bischoff, try to lend some advice, and it doesn't sound like they wanted it. I'm like, but why wouldn't you want a little bit of Eric Bischoff advice if he's offering it?
I'll tell you why.
What's that?
I'll tell you why. Because Eric Bischoff had two companies.
Oh, you broke up a little bit. The last thing we heard was Eric Bischoff had 2 companies.
Oh, okay. You'll love the last part then. And they failed.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, did they fail, or did they sell? If one of the companies gets sold to a big conglomerate that didn't want wrestling?
I mean, I think WCW
But why-
failed.
but
I
why-
think they just got to the
Why did
point.
that happen in the first place?
Right.
Right. I mean, in the end, of course, like, you know, the library of WCW belongs to WWE. Like, of course, in the end, they completely lost. But he does have a formula that was working until he started coming out with the NWO, basically. Like, as soon as he became an NWO character, you can pretty much, you know, he started to feel his own wrestling character, and then that was the end of it. But the formula was there. So that's what I'm saying. So, which this is something that AEW is missing. They are missing that want to of somebody that's not completely into all of these independent wrestlers that came to AEW to that want to come back. That, oh, I feel like I need to watch next week. It's not there. Like, it's not there. And that's one of the issues. And that's why I'm saying maybe you might want to listen to a couple of words that Eric Bischoff has to say.
Well, fair enough. I would say that we on that topic pretty heavy. So, so with that being said, we can move on. I know,
Sure.
there's three here, so that's one of them done. So Tommy, if you want to go ahead and, or
Yeah, let's my question
your
is
topic?
I actually stole this from Something to Wrestle but I'm curious anyway. The question I have is what dream match is the biggest missed opportunity by WWE? For example, Hogan and Flair, Hogan and Austin, or Taker and Sting? I would have to say Hogan and Flair. I know they just kind of missed it, but Flair's my guy, as you can see if you're watching the video. But they just dropped the ball with that. I mean, I know they did a couple of house shows back in the day, and they didn't draw good numbers, and they weren't like people weren't super interested. But I just feel like that would have been the marquee moment. I mean, that's what WrestleMania 8 was supposed to be, but. That was my my question. Hogan and Flair would be my my answer for sure. Not even thinking twice about it. As much as I would like to see Undertaker and Sting, I mean, and you can use your own. You don't have to necessarily use the ones that I threw out there as examples, but
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I think Shawn Michaels and Sting would be a hell of a match. We're still waiting on Shawn Michaels and AJ. Like, there's some good ones out there, some good dream matches out there.
Yeah, there's some dream matches. Okay, I'll go next. So yeah, I am
go
gonna
ahead,
pick
DJ.
Sting, Undertaker. Yeah, I'll pick Sting, Undertaker. I feel like, well, I mean that whole invasion. I think in fact, when you watch the documentary that Sting did in WWE, they didn't talk to him. You know, they didn't really, they just kind of figured, oh, it just seems like they just kind of figured we're WWE. So of course he's going to come here, when when his contract's up. And that's not what happened. There was no discussion. And then of course you're watching TV and you're watching people, The Rock and other people destroy WCW wrestlers on the mic, so that kind of scared him away too. Whereas I would have been at his doorstep, and like, if you can imagine, when you're about to have this invasion angle, I would have been at his house, like literally at his house, knocking on his door. Like, what do you need? Like, what do you need from us? And then move that into like during that invasion, that's how you even start. You could have even started the storyline of Sting versus The Undertaker. And that would have been those two guys basically right near their primes. So it was a completely drop ball with not just that, but also the WCW invasion.
Damn. What was the three again?
It was Hogan and Flair, Hogan and Austin, which you could have done at like WrestleMania 18 instead of Hogan and Rock, and Taker and Sting.
Or one that you have in your head.
Yeah.
I was trying to like hard while you guys were talking. Um, but I would have to say definitely take Sting. Completely missed out. But I did hear from like, but Jim Cornette touched, and I'm not saying I'm a fan or anything. He did bring up a good point. He just said like, I think people think that the would sound good, like it looks good in their head, sounds good in their head, but once you get it, you're gonna be disappointed.
That's true. Yeah.
It's happened. It's definitely happened. 'Cause you had to go to your match, like, because I did go to one of those house shows where Hogan and Flair wrestled.
I did too, actually. That's funny.
Yeah, I just like they hopefully, like, I mean, if it happened at Mania per se, then there better had been a good storyline, because I just felt like, here I am, I'm watching Hogan and Flair, I'm like, it's sloppy, it looks kind of sloppy. It wasn't, I just wasn't that excited during the match.
Yep.
They just weren't good dance partners. Like, we kind of talked about that on the show. Like, sometimes guys are just good. Like, you can watch, Kevin Owens and Zayn all day long because they're just good dance partners. They're gonna have a good match blindfolded. Whereas Hogan and Flair, they just didn't. You saw it a couple times even in WCW. Just not they're not good dance partners. That's all. That's the only reason why it wasn't quite a dream match that I felt like they missed.
It's funny that you mentioned
I like
that.
how you touched DJ. No, sorry. I like how you touched it. That it would have been in their primes, both Sting and Undertaker. Hold on. I think every time I talk, my connection goes down. You guys hear me?
Yes.
I think I like how you said distinctly in their primes, because could you imagine now with prior to Undertaker retiring and Sting now just coming, could you imagine now them having a fucking match?
That'd be crazy. That'd be awful. It'd be like Goldberg and, no offense, DJ, it'd be like Goldberg and Undertaker.
No, I'd rather it be like one of those theatrical, like, kind of video, like movie kind of matches. I'll go for that at their age right now.
I mean, that
makes sense. Some Darby Allin and, and Sting and Undertaker, and maybe, think of another character like that and have them have like a movie kind of a match.
Because we had a fucking match with Flair not too ago with him having a, that match. Yeah.
That doesn't exist in my world.
It's like something that you can see.
That's Jordan on the Wizards.
Yeah. That's Jordan playing baseball.
That's a good analogy. Holy shit.
Yeah. We don't talk about
good.
Fun fact: the house show I saw Flair and Hogan at is actually on one of the DVDs that WWE put out.
Oh, nice.
The like unreleased matches or something like that. It's from the Springfield Civic Center in Springfield, Mass.
How about I say they always did that for you guys? You guys always get the Coliseum home video matches.
I like, as we're talking about this, DJ's got a portrait of Sting in the background.
Yeah.
It's signed too.
That's his guy, and Flair's my guy. So, yep.
Yeah, I'm a punk guy through and through.
Oh, click. We're out of here.
Like, that's it.
That's because you're from Chicago,
Is
right?
that a hot take?
Yeah. I don't know if it's a hot take. It's some kind of take for sure. No. It's
No, but good topic, man.
Yeah.
What dream matches would you guys like to see that weren't on that list?
I would love to see. Honestly, I'd love to see AJ and HBK.
That would be a good match.
AJ and
Yeah, I'm
who?
trying to.
HBK.
Sean.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
HBK.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Gotcha.
I guess one for me, like we might end up seeing it, would be is Rock versus Roman. Like I think I'm
Mm.
kind of interested. I want to see what happens with that kind of a match.
Versus Roman. Like, so when we're talking about dream matches, people that are in the same, like still alive,
Not you anywhere, any
stuff
era.
like that.
Yeah, I think any era, honestly.
Yep. It's a dream, right? So
It is a dream.
yeah.
I would like to see what a I would like to see what like a Eddie Guerrero versus kind of like an Andrade match would be like.
Mm. I would go over like crazy, I bet, these days. Like if we did it
Yes.
now.
Or even like one just popped in my head, Roddy versus MJF.
Mm. Promos for that would be fire.
Oh God. You would tune in every
yeah.
week just to see the promos.
Or we could get like fucking FTR versus
The Brainbusters or
Doom.
Oh, against who? You broke up again.
FTR versus the Animal and Hawk.
Oh, Legion of Doom? Oh, that would be good.
wow. Yeah. 'Cause that's a good contrast in
Yeah.
styles and everything. So yeah. Yeah, I'd
would
go for
love-
that. I'd pay for I'd tune in for that.
You guys got anything else to add to the topic before we go to the final one, which is mine?
I don't think so. I think I'm good, man.
Let's do it.
All right. So I'm glad you mentioned Eric Bischoff earlier because one of my topics I wanted to bring up was something that he said. And you guys know that he said something on his podcast the other day about how he's a firm believer having a build up to a match
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to know how you guys feel about that. Let me read this verbatim.
Sure.
Okay. I want to know how you guys feel. What makes you guys want to watch a match? Is it the story or is it both?
I'll let you go first, DJ, man, on that one.
It completely depends on the characters. There are some characters that you just want to see fight, and it's all right if we, boom, this guy, I'm just gonna just off top, like say Ken Shamrock is about to fight whoever, and it's a Lions Den match. I don't need a whole lot of build up to that, but there are other times like say we just mentioned MJF, and I think his not to say he's not good in the ring, but I think he does better when there is a story and when there's a build up to. You see, he's only wrestled like about 17 times on Dynamite. Or even probably total. Like, I mean, if I saw it right, like 17, what was he, 17-4 or something like that? So, but everything has but each one of his matches, beside the one that he just had on Dynamite, has this whole story. Like, you're like, by the time he hits the ring for an actual match, there's a whole, everybody is so ready. Like, everybody's frothing at the mouth to see the match because they have done such a great build up. So to me it just depends on who the characters are, and what type of match we're talking about.
For me, it's like the styles. Whether like you said with the FTR versus LOD, like their styles complement each other. I love promos, so promos are a big deal. And then just like I don't need like I don't need like stipulations and things like that. Like a good match is a good match. Trying to think of like some of the independent shows I go to and stuff where you're just like, I don't need false finishes and stuff like that. I just want to see like workhorses go. Like I love guys like Mr. Perfect and like Bret Hart during his Intercontinental runs and stuff like that. Shawn Michaels. Obviously Flair's like my guy, but Flair was more of like, I loved him for the character, not necessarily his wrestling style and things like that. I love like a good like technician and like going up against like a guy who can move. A perfect example I feel like is that I keep going back to it, but HBK and AJ. AJ is more of like a technician, but he can still fly a little bit, and then HBK is the he's going to do all the flips and the jumping off the top rope and maybe go through a table and yeah, exactly. So I think the biggest thing for me though is like, how do their styles match up?
That's cool. I'm a firm believer that really for a story like you match between two people that will sell tickets, I mean,
yeah, that's true. I just went to a house show with my kid.
Don't get me wrong, but
I was just gonna say, sorry, I went to a house show with my kid, and one of the matches was Cedric Alexander and Tommaso Ciampa. Right. And like it was like the second match, and everybody's like, "What the fuck? Like, why is this match going on?" And then you like during the match, all of a sudden you're like, "This is a freaking banger!" And like they got a legitimate "This is awesome" chant. So yeah, so you're right. Sometimes you never know how two people are going to match up.
Indie show. These just put these cards together, no rhyme or reason, and tag teams, singles matches, and they end up putting out like some fucking awesome matches that nobody ever sees.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's why I feel a problem with AEW. Like some people will say, "Oh, I don't have any story," and shit like that, and it's like, I mean, Andrade and 10 before sold had like a 5-second promo, and it was Mask for Career, and I was hooked.
Well, Mask for Career, like there's not a whole lot that needs to be said.
Yeah, that is like the story.
So
right.
I mean, with that, yeah. I
get what...
like Brian Cage and Wardlow, that didn't have much of a build up either, but it was a great match.
Yeah.
No, and there's some people that it's just like, so it's like Wardlow and Brian Cage, they had they were good dance partners, so they put on a good show. Didn't really, and Wardlow in itself is a story. So you didn't really need a whole lot there, but there are some people like what it's like. One of the things again, like going back to our AEW question, you do have to talk to that audience that might have been gone for a couple of weeks, or maybe hey, I want to watch I haven't watched wrestling in a while. Let me watch some wrestling, and to show up and to click on AEW, and then you just you're watching a couple of guys, it's the sustainability. Like that's why you see the ratings going so up and down is because okay, great, even if I did watch a good match, but why should I come back next week? So that's like there does need to like it is a production. Like you know, I know we got that, you know, the in AEW they like to do the whole you know, sports entertainment and pro wrestling. I get it. But you know, pro wrestling is on a mat with two guys with singlets. Okay, that's pro wrestling. This is sport. Like no matter what they say, this is sports entertainment, and this is a show. And there is like you're trying to get like, you know, it is like a circus. You're trying to have people come back, and you know, a butt every 3 inches, and that doesn't happen if I'm not emotionally involved.
That's a fucking excellent point, man. No, I totally understand that. Well, I'll leave you guys off with this question before we sign off here and let you guys plug in some stuff. Do you guys think Andrade should get his
Should get his what? You broke up on my end here a little bit.
Release.
and what?
His release?
Oh no, his release. Yes, release.
Oh, I don't think so. I think these things happen all the time. One of the things that I've said a bunch of times is that one of the problems is that AEW lets these stories get out. There's no like, I'm sure this backstage bullshit has happened with WWE a million times. The problem is somebody squashes it in the back, whether it's an Undertaker or whoever, you know, with the I forgot, the Bone Street Crew or whatever.
Then they have like a court, isn't there? Like a court
wrestler court.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's not like there's nobody in AEW who is telling them to knock it off or that it's gonna stay here. It's literally like we are just going to let this leak out somehow and not do anything about it, and then it's like, oh, okay, now this guy should be fired. This is happening. Somebody's getting punched in the face. We got to rewrite the show an hour before we go on the air. Somehow Sammy Guevara is still in the main event. Like, just, I don't know. It's just there. I'm sure this has happened before in the past with even other promotions. You go back to, you know, the NWA or wherever, Smoky Mountain or Mid-South, whatever you want to pick one, right? I'm sure there has been altercations in the back. I'm sure there has been disagreements in the back, but the difference is you never hear about it because somebody is like, this can't get out. We got to keep our mouth shut.
Right.
Whoever that is, there's not that role in AEW. So no, I don't think Andrade should be punished. I don't think CM Punk should be punished. I don't think the Elite should be punished. I think those guys, I mean, you might boot me off the show here, but I do think CM Punk is a cancer in the locker room. I think he's just I think he's got a shitty attitude. But that doesn't mean he should.
That was it for him.
Yeah. I just think it's
Good night, guys.
Yeah. I just think that but that's who he is. Like, Tony Khan should have known what he was getting himself into. It doesn't affect whether he should be suspended or not. It's not, you know, it's just keep it behind the curtain. Keep it behind the curtain.
No, it's definitely, I'm gonna like basically almost everything he just said. Like it's on leadership. Like I don't, you know, this stuff should not, like, if you want to fine him or something, I'm good with that. But this is on leadership. Like, this should not be out. We should not be having fights that affect the show. Like, nothing should affect the show. Nothing. Not like you can call Vince McMahon whatever you want. Nothing was allowed to affect the show. And that should carry over to everybody. Like, I don't care. You know, like, if you own something, you would also be in every faction of it as well. Like, you know, everybody made fun of Vince for doing that, but I'm like, if you owned a business, you would be doing the same. So you got to stop it at, you know, right when it starts. I do, and I agree with like the whole suspensions of CM Punk and all of the folks involved in that. I thought that was silly as well. But yeah, maybe you should have us on one time so we could we could have a subject about CM Punk. Because I don't want to take up too much.
Yeah,
Like
I wanna talk
I
about
have
CM
things
Punk
to
with
say
you
about
guys.
him as well, but I won't say him now.
I'll keep that for tonight. About CM Punk. Um,
Hey, we said we should. We
No,
said he
that-
shouldn't be
that-
suspended.
Right.
No, no, I agree with you guys. It shouldn't get to the point where you have to give suspensions to anybody, tell them to go
Mm-mm.
home.
Mm.
Should have nipped it in the bud right before. I had to have known that they was having beef on Twitter prior to the
Yes.
show happening on Wednesday.
Right.
Yes.
You just don't throw that under the rug. So, especially when everybody's talking about it.
Yep.
But yeah, that's all I want. I wanted to get your take on it because everybody's talking about it, the backstage drama and shit. So, if you guys got anything to plug, go right. I
right.
don't know who does. I know Tom, you run all the social media, so you're probably the mouthpiece of the run-in. So if you want to go ahead
Oh,
and
yeah.
plug
Oh,
something, go ahead.
DJ's the pretty face. I'm the mouth. We drop a new
That's a heck
episode.
of a blow-up doll, I think.
Yeah, we drop a new episode every single Friday. You can get it wherever you find your podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify. It's just the Run-In Podcast. Do a search for it. We do have a website, runinpod.com. Bunch of discount codes up there. Links to our YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter are all up there because they're all different. So I'm not gonna run through them all, but because for whatever reason, Run-In Pod is taken on a bunch of stuff. So, but runinpod.com is where you can find everything. We do have a Patreon as well. We do a monthly giveaway just for being a member. Tiers start at $1, $5, and $10. And it's it's patreon.com/runinpod. We do some fun stuff there as well. Some bonus episodes. We do like giraffes. Like the last draft we just did was cereals. We got an appetizer one that's going to be dropping soon. So we just have fun over there. Again, it's patreon.com/runinpod, and then find our podcast anywhere you find your podcasts. The Run-In Podcast. New episode drops every Friday. Appreciate you having us on, man.
Awesome.
Oh,
I'll make
yeah.
sure to put that. Oh yeah. No, thanks for coming on. I'll make sure to put that Patreon in the after we're done here.
Awesome.
Awesome. Don't forget, guys. Tomorrow we're going live for Friday Night SmackDown. Let's watch SmackDown.
Nice.
So, but don't forget to check out these guys. One of their shows one time, and it was pretty fun. So, all right.
Yeah, we have a
I
good
guess that's it.
time while we're doing it. Try not
Oh, yeah.
to take it too seriously.
Yep. Yeah, that's it, guys. So I hope you guys have a good night. Enjoy Thursday Night Football, and on the next one.
All right, sounds good, man. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks for having us.